Lo, a Racist Exile by HAarlem VEnison. This is a book of poetry in a very slim volume by the one and only HAarlem VEnison. He blogs on acidwrite.info.com. That's www.acidwrite.info. More likely no .com. He is a controversial character. He has written Lo, a Racist Exile and Death to the World, his newest novel, but I'll be looking at Lo, a Racist Exile. HAarlem VEnison also YouTubes The Final Negro, which is a theme he likes to use in his work of art. He has been featured on The Stark Truth and has been making some trolling attempts on Red Ice Radio and everywhere else. He is kind of the anarcho-nomad who goes everywhere, kind of late punk culture, but he's more on the acid right side or some kind of post-alt-right or some flirtation that he knows that the right wing is controversial and radical, and so as a punkster, he will be associating with that and basically nomading and punk squatting at American Renaissance and NPI conferences and whatnot. On this slim volume, you can get it from Amazon. The back of the book states, Crypto Racist goes on psychedelic journey across the full spectrum of human thought and experience. The ISBN number in the corner. You can read the first preview online, but because this is a book of poetry, poetry is kind of like having works of arts, and it's more about words or music or art. And so it's not really about reading literature like start to finish. This isn't a novel in a traditional sense. It's a work of art, as if he was to get a pen and write these words out, and then you speak it aloud and feel this kind of emotion. I mean, if you're the poetry nut, you probably know what I'm talking about, but I'm just saying that this is pure fontism and pure artistic sense. There are pictures of HAarlem VEnison in the book. Some of them look like he's taking selfies with a beard in a very bathroom. I will have to warn you, though, because he is naked in some of his pictures, and looking at his penis is not something, I don't know, depending. It's not that but you'll find some Sieg Halding toots pictures and him near marijuana and just funny stuff about him personally. And his poetry is almost personally about himself. So I'm going to read some of his poetry. He says in the introduction, quote, although this book's underlying message is beyond the scope of its literal content, it can nevertheless be read as the author's personal meditations on his own vacillation between utter despair and lucid optimism in the struggle to overthrow the singular blight of our era anti-racism. Open to a random page and read it any which way. May all of humanity find mutual prosperity, understanding, and peace. This, interesting. So I could read into a random page. I thought maybe I would read the second poem. None of the poems really have names, so... Okay, that's the first one. You rich kids, you might be spick, motherfucker, nigger, black, whatever. I don't care. You friends are all waspy, motherfucker, spick, bitch, white, motherfucker, Aryan Saxon bitches. You're just a percentage. You might as well have been born into it. Either way, your bitch, motherfucker, white, Anglo-Saxon, wasp, bitch friends are the ones hosting your rooftop parties. But guess what? I'm the guy who shows up from the other roof and steals your party. Y'all are bitches. Your party is gay. Gay. So you already can hear that kind of that's twang or that lingo or that type of accent. That's or let me read a poetry. Another one. Riding freight right now, spending late summer on the Continental Divide, up near our pass, the Canadian border, where the quiet of the early morning lasts all day and all things are forgot. Cold rain, flash floods in green grass fields in Indiana, by windy, well-driven road, roll up in trap and hunker down 'cause 15 mile that day, get soaked, worms. And I've loved every wet ditch, and I do, and I always will. The cold water seeping through, and the worms I wake up to. Over and again, I always do. This one's funny. I ate dirt yesterday. Tripped on acid the day before. Meeting tons of cool people. This place is awesome. Here's another one. Gone, gone, I couldn't explain it if it were right in front of me. A vast revolution will come in our lifetimes, like a bolt from the blue. Here's another short one. Everything I have done intentionally. King of all suckers, the sucker king. These next two poems are very of this one poem is interesting. Deep no, I think it is two poems. Cosmopolitan vagabond, walking morning mountain, drunk on the psychic ecstasy of hunger strike, blackening my nigger throat insomuch as fathom reverine enters psychotic genius mode, not wearing sunscreen to tease inner negroism to fore, to be nigger spick mad dog of semisphere, etc. Deep woods cult, worship a psychic negro who bleats, worship not I, worship not I. He's blind and deaf, and wobbles around feeling people's faces to get a feel for them, and feel them outside. He knows not abstraction, his face like carved wood. He says, exterminate the black race. Lo, he is the final Negro. Here's the first one with hello in it. Save me from the center, through the long exile, that it not end, look to lost, where it would live, between thunderclaps. Hello. Mr. Venison has a lot of uses of hello in it. Here's another one. Be here now. Forget about ancient monuments. Take no photos. Forget about the Moors of yesterday. Kick the half-decayed Basenji corpse into the vast, black river of mud. Burn your plastic refuse. Inhale deeply. Immerse yourself in the aroma. If you listen close enough, all sounds sound the same, and I am a nigger just like you. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Wake up. Wake the fuck up. Hello? Good to meet you. Hello. There's this playing with the helloing. Here's another one. The long exile in the slave castle. The weather-exposed skeleton atop this mount of pollen. Atop this misty mountain, my truck seizes up, after sight of my slickers in my trade-bred satchel. Hello. Some of them are just strange rambling. Let me read this one. Good morning. If I die, also not. The old babies, the long exile, also not. The smoke could be in your eyes, the irresistible wall of heaven, also not. I do not want, I do not want, I do not want. There is a God, 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 there is a God. Kind of like a repeating robot or some kind of strange repetition that's very aesthetic-wise. I could read the final Negro story, but I think that should be saved for best for last. And I would suggest to buy the book to read his more spiritual philosophy about the final Negro. But I'll leave one more poem. Lo, a slave to exile, a whole mind walked away, ramshackle motor mouth, psychic anticipation of an Aryan epiphany, of a Negro notation. Lo, hello. There's much poems to be said in this debut collection by Venison. He might have had some other poetry and earlier punk zines, but this is a pretty good introduction to his thoughts. And Deaf to the World is his other book, which is more of a narrative. If you go to acidwrite.info, you will find more about Rules for Racist and Racist Safe Space. Especially tune into Mr. HAarlem VEnison's YouTube videos as you'll learn more about his philosophy. Please buy this book. It's a great book. You definitely want it to have in your collection to show your stupid punk friends that you have really psychedelic stuff. And this is a really cool play with words you don't get to see every other so day. So, yeah.